What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming to you with another episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest affiliate marketing news, tips, and trends. Once again, Josh from OfferVault.com, the industry's largest aggregator of all things affiliate marketing. We also have Mr. Paper Call, Adam Young, as well as the industry legend, Harrison Gevirtz. And we are the special guest today. We are just kicking it old school style. The boys are back in town. Great classic rock song if you don't know it. Adam, Harrison.
Special guest.
Oh, we do have a special guest. Remind us of the dog's name again.
Peanut.
Peanut, yes. If you're not already following Peanut on Instagram, Peanut does have his own account and great content on there, I must say. Some fabulous photos and inspirational stories. Lots of nudes. Yes.
You can join his Only Pause. It's $13.99 a month.
So, speaking of Only Pause, not sure when you guys are watching this episode, but for us, Affiliate Summit is coming up in just a few days. Affiliate Summit West in Las Vegas, and we want to touch on the show. Adam and Harrison, I know you guys are dealing with a couple crazy out-of-the-box challenges related to the tech behind your booth and the giant screens that you guys work with. Can you talk to us a little bit about the fires you have to put out on that front? Like, what's that like?
I mean, it seems that every venue in Las Vegas has different rules, policies, and logic behind how to allow big-ass fucking booths to be set up, or what's allowed, what's not allowed, and even from year to year. So we're attending Affiliate Summit in a couple days. Same venue as last year, same booth as last year, the kick-ass screens that you all know very well. And they're like, hey, we need all this, we need all this documentation. We need this, we need that. Versus a year ago, they're like, here, yeah, just set up your booth, whatever, who cares? And Adam can attest to this. We had to work with real engineers this week, like not software engineers, like mechanical engineers, people,
like licensed engineers.
Yeah, so licensed engineer to run a bunch of math equations. Like, I think the one that we got the biggest kick out of was the wind load. They were like, you need to calculate the wind load for your booth that's going to be inside.
Harrison's consuming so much protein, and the trade show follows his Instagram, and so they're concerned that if he passes gas, it could knock the screens over.
Or if he just walks by.
So we had to hire a licensed engineer.
Dude, there's no gas. I tried to buy eggs. I can't buy fucking eggs, so there should be no gas. I'm out of eggs. It's a really bad thing. I'm really pissed. There are no eggs in my house.
We generally sandbag the screens at the bottom, and then also cable tie it to the ceiling so that if it were to tip, no one would get hurt. We've never had any issues with tipping because it's an engineered structure so that it won't tip. It's actually very secure and weight loaded appropriately. But
it's made not to tip.
Yeah, the venue wants us to do engineered CAD drawings and then to do all sorts of structural calculations on the frame and the weight load of the frame and all of the bolts and the shear of the bolts and the wind load. So how much weight, or, if it twists, when will the bolt shear, and what the math is behind all that. Now, the venue is not going to be like, oh, hey, yeah, your bolt shear is too much of a risk on the upper left quadrant of your screen frame. They're just being difficult and saying that we need to meet certain engineering trade group standards. However, wind load inside of a closed building is not really a concern. The air
haven't been inside of a windy building in a while.
Yeah, I know. And with this venue, it's a bit of a pain in the ass because they don't have an open ceiling. So the rafters and the structural supports in the ceiling are not open, like warehouse style, like you see in many trade show halls. It's actually a closed ceiling. And so it's a bit more complicated to do a riser or cable ties to the ceiling, steel cable ties. And what most people don't know about our screens, Josh, is they're actually engineered to fly as in they're engineered so we could hang them from the rafters and the screens could actually fly in midair. And they are engineered so people can walk under them if the ceiling is high enough, even though it's like thousands of pounds. And they are engineered for that, but the trade show does not, the unions do not care about any of that. They want to be difficult and make us do specific engineered CAD drawings with all the shear and all the weight loads to their specifications on it. And so every single trade show, they drop this on us a week before. And it's
the best part or worst part. We start working on like, for example, like we ship stuff to the warehouse, this, that, like 3 to 6 weeks before a trade show. And then they ignore it, wait till Monday before the show. Ridiculous.
And then they're like, yeah, go find an engineer. And you can't and so we literally had to send people to the warehouse and uncrate and weigh certain sections of the screens and the structural frames. And, this isn't necessarily cheap, but if you want to put on an incredible production at a trade show, and I can confidently say that Ringba's is by far the craziest in our industry, it's a lot of work. And that's why companies rent their booths or work with booth companies that do all these things for them, as opposed to buying their own equipment like us. But you can't do what we do if you don't actually own it. Yeah.
I think that you brought up a good point. I think that what you just said has a lot to do with why they make it such a shitty experience for us, because they multiple times have tried to be like, well, you could just rent ours. You can rent our shitty screen that will have no issues, from an engineering or architecture perspective, but it's going to be way more expensive, and you already paid to ship your shit here, and it's not as good quality screen. So good luck.
Yeah, it's going to be a different aspect ratio, different resolution, different image processors. We'd have to retool all the content. And so another thing, is, Josh, we produce all of the content in-house for what's on the screens, and we change it for every show. And, so we have a lot of time, effort, energy, and money into the production of what goes on the screens. And so when they do this to us, that's what they're doing is, I think, like Harrison's saying, is they're attempting to bully us into renting their equipment instead of using ours. But there's just no way we're going to do that. And so kudos to Chad on our team, who gets to deal with this every single time. Every show is literally like a dumpster fire for him, no matter how much we plan or try. Chad still has to deal with some crazy shit, and it always comes down to the wire. And it's worth it, but man.
Connected called us the morning, like what, like maybe no, the night before, so 12 hours before the show, and they're like, yeah, you're not getting your booth.
Bro, why are you so close to your camera, dude?
I just get so angry. I want to make sure you can hear the anger in my voice.
Bro, InsurTech Connect called
Might have something to do with the extracurriculars I take. Sorry about that. Okay.
Wait, so I know how your guys' brains work. So my next question is, when you have a booth like you do now, where do you go from here? I know you guys are always thinking about what's next, how to do it bigger and better, right? So how do you go beyond what you're already doing? I have an idea. Adam, I don't know if you remember, a long time ago, I shared an Instagram reel with you. It was like LCD screens that actually move. And I think your reply to me was just a simple "fuck you." Or something. So how do you go bigger than where you guys are already at? Because you're already doing massive stuff with your booth and the trade show presence.
I don't think it's necessary in our space. Our space is consistently the same size, almost every show, or maybe a little bigger. And I think the reality of the situation is that when we decided to do what we did, I asked the question, how do we make ourselves look like the only tech company in the industry? And we've achieved that. And no one else has stepped up to the plate and done anything more interesting than we have. And so we're going to get a lot of life out of this investment. And I don't necessarily think we need to spend the time, energy, or money to try and go bigger on the booth at this point. because no one else is going to do anything like we've done. Some other people try to do some interesting things, and you know, it's fine. But for us, we just wanted to show that we're a hardcore tech company, and so our entire booth is actually a piece of technology. Now, a lot of people probably think we rent that thing, or it's just some screens, but we engineered it, we designed it, we design all the content on it, we design the framing, the presentation, how it gets stored in the boxes, how it gets organized, what the checklists are, the software, literally everything. We designed and engineered it with the manufacturers so that we could put this on. And so we wanted to demonstrate to the industry that we were a technology company and not just a software company. Like, we have really smart people. We can engineer anything. We can build or make anything. And that's why Ringba is what it is. Like, we're just really, really nerdy over here. And so we just figure things out. And until someone comes along and somehow presents that they can do something more technologically advanced, then I don't think we really need to think about it. But the moment someone does that, sure, game on. I'll figure out how to do something bigger and more interesting. But, when you walk into that trade show, Josh, and you look around, there's no question that Ringba is there, that Ringba makes technology. And when you look at the other technology companies there with a wrinkled booth or a pop-up booth or something like that, and yeah, I'm just straight talking shit right now. Like, I'm not impressed. Fair. And not only that, this is a fucking marketing conference. And there aren't a lot of marketers that run these companies. And so, I got mad respect for John Ventura and what he's been doing at trade shows. He's invested, he's brought his brand level up in a really big way. He's got beautiful booths, and, he's a marketer. And so he's marketing, but a lot of the other companies here are not run by marketers. And so, what you see is what's out there. And I think we're getting our message across. And so, yeah, this is a long-winded answer, but
I mean, getting the screens to the show's got to be a process. And I'm assuming you guys own everything. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to store that when you're not using it. And then what? You got a semi that basically freights it to the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes
So
out
full
of
semi-trailer.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have all these like music, kind of like road cases. I don't know what to call them, and
Yeah,
they're all
road
labeled.
case.
We have
You got
we have
it.
air tags and all of them to track them. It's the whole thing. And then we seal them up
So
Yeah.
so they.
The guy who did the initial programming and set up and worked with us on this is one of the lead guys that does EDC, just to give you an idea, Josh.
Nice. One last thing on Affiliate Summit West. For a company like Ringba, I'm assuming it's pretty rare you guys get new clients from shows like this. Would you say that's accurate, and it's more about massaging?
There's always customers coming. There's that guy who's not running calls that sees us at 6 affiliate summits, and on the seventh one is like, fuck it, I'm gonna try some, let me do this, whatever. Let me try pay per call. And then there's people that, eventually make the switch. I think we definitely get business from these shows, but like affiliate summit specifically, is definitely a lot of like client relationship management. But then the way it works is our team members are having lunch or something with a client, and then they're like, "Hey, I'm working with this guy, and he's not using Ringba, and he really should be." And then they bring him over to the dinner or the lunch, or they bring you over to his booth. So we definitely see new business, but we've touched base on this over the years in the episodes. It's like, it's this is a branding play, that yields us business in the long run. So, if we, the day three of, the show's ending and we're like, oh, we got this many signups or whatever, it's not like, oh no, we understand that it's a slower sales cycle for software in general. Like if I had an affiliate network, I would be leaving the show like, I better have fucking business, at least something, see something to come to fruition. But like, it's the one in a million. You might have a booth for 2 years, 3 years, get nothing. And then on that fourth year trade show, you might have a whale come in that makes you a couple $1 million. So you have to think about it like that too. If you're in if you're an affiliate an affiliate network or an advertiser, don't worry about it and don't do what everyone does and just go to 2 shows and give up because you didn't see the crazy ROI. I know we say this every show almost, but give it 3 years to really gauge your return on investment when sponsoring a trade show or buying a booth or whatever.
If you can't get a return on investment on a show like this and you're in the industry, that's a you problem. That's not the show's problem. That's you didn't do your business development properly. You didn't do your follow-up after the show. You didn't present yourself well. You didn't have a good location. You didn't do your branding right. Like, you got to get a lot of things right at these shows. But Josh, to your original question, Sun Tzu says, and he's right, it's much easier to defend territory than it is to take new territory. And, I'll be a little cocky about it. Ringba has the majority market share for the affiliate space. And so that's why we show up. Not send a sales team. Harrison and I show up to all these trade shows and work them all day long. Like, if you come to Affiliate Summit at the meat market, I will be in front of our tables from open to close, and I will meet with as many people as I possibly can who wants to come talk to us, Harrison too, and we'll be there at the booth. And we try not to schedule meetings. Like, a lot of CEOs go and they just got a ton of meetings. They're like, my team works the booth, or their CEO doesn't come at all, right?
Why?
And so
it doesn't set an example to your team either.
Yeah. And so we like to be front and center. We like to make an appearance. This will be my 20th Affiliate Summit West, I think. Yeah, I'm getting old, bro. And I think that just showing up is important. And if you consistently do that over a long period of time, you will build the connections and relationships that'll help any business in the space. So we're big advocates of this. A lot of people don't like the trade shows. It is a grind, but I actually look forward to it. Like, I'm excited. And the way we're doing it this year isn't really that bad. I mean, on the first, we're taking a bunch of clients out to see Cascade at Live in Miami. And then on the second, we're hopping a Gulfstream G550 to cruise on out to Vegas. We're going to shoot some podcasts and do a mastermind on the jet. And so, not a whole lot of suffering there. And then the next day, we're going to be at the meat market and we're going to grind all day. And then there's some networking events afterwards that we'll likely go to. And then 2 days of exhibit hall. And then we're back out with the crew on the plane back to Miami. And so it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too. And, when you're going on your 20th one, you get a lot of freedom and flexibility to do it in a cool way and make an impact, not only for ourselves, but for our customers. The ones that fly with us, we will do millions of dollars in deals on those flights. We have a new trade show that's coming for the affiliate space, and one of the owners and the founder of that's flying with us. And, Harrison and I are working on a deal for that.
Is that announced, the show? I'm wondering if it's the same show I'm thinking of.
It is, yeah, it is announced, but our partnership, it isn't yet. So,
okay, gotcha. Yeah,
it
looks cool. It looks cool.
Will be, but let's not jinx it here. We gotta wrap it up.
It looks like a cool thing. Yeah, Gulfstreams are cool, but have you ever flown Economy Plus on United? Because let me tell you, that is a very nice experience. Speaking
I am
of,
a big fan of the Biscotti.
yeah, dude. Oh, the Biscotti, can't go wrong.
Josh, Spirit has Comfy now,
dude.
Which you can fly with another person and they'll leave the middle seat open.
I can't fly Spirit. I can't fly Frontier. I won't do it anymore. It's funny because from Cleveland to Vegas, the only direct flights are either Spirit or Frontier, and I won't do it. I'll take a layover over flying them, which actually fucked me last
Get
time.
the big front seat. You get a Burger King crown when you board.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't do it. Going back to conferences, we're getting the train back on the rails here. Does your mindset or your approach change between shows? Because I know like ICMG, a big insurance conference, is coming up, and you guys are involved with that as
Well,
well.
you just
So
said it. I think the easy way to put it is there are trade shows and there are conferences, and we have a different approach to market and promote ourselves at a trade show versus a conference. Conferences generally, we don't have the screens there because it's a smaller exhibit hall, and a lot of the energy from the show, operators tends to be on content. Um, so we kind of focus on that. And we keep our team goes to the sessions and stuff like that. There, maybe our marketing dollars get allocated to sponsoring a happy hour or something like that. Versus at Affiliate Summit, we want, as many impressions as possible. We always go for lanyards and badges, obviously, but then, we go for a booth and maybe, we participate in some events and stuff like that. So it's just a different kind of playbook for this kind of show versus a conference versus a trade show.
another big headline in the news of our space is the one-to-one consent rule getting overturned just recently. How big is that for the pay per call space specifically? And what kind of impact does that have immediately as well as, 6 to 12 months from now?
Well, it's a temporary stay. I haven't had a chance to talk to legal about this, and so I don't want to dive too into the specifics, but um, my guess is the FCC is going to figure out how to come up with some other regulations that may be a little less strict. But at the end of the day, brokering and dialing on a lead 3,000 times so that you melt someone's phone is not in the best interest of the consumer. I think that it may even become a First Amendment issue where the First Amendment says freedom of speech, which may get litigated, and we don't know what the outcome will be. But the thought behind that is the consumer should be able to dial whoever they want to dial or receive a phone call from whoever they ask for or consent to. And these carriers shouldn't be able to limit that because that means they're encroaching on someone's freedom of speech. So there's a lot of interesting legal arguments that'll come out of this. I'm not a lawyer, by the way. If you want to learn more about this, follow Reach. I am on the board. That's Troutman's lobby group. And if marketers are not going to prepare for a different business model for the long term than a lot of the ones that exist today, I still think they're going to run into issues. And even though people are now allowed to go back and do what they were doing before for another year or whatever it may be, I don't think that pretending that you can do this forever is the right move. A lot of companies are still going to change what they're doing to do one-to-one or a much more reasonable or palatable consent tree because it's the right thing to do and they want to build for the long term. And so the FCC one-to-one getting overturned created an environment where a lot of people are happy that they can continue as business as usual, but now we have the unknown of what the regulations will be or what will change and when. So I believe that the reality is change is coming. We don't know what that's going to be, and businesses still need to prepare for that change. And a lot of people didn't. I saw a lot of panic running up to January 20th, but that's how it always goes. And so I'm a firm believer that anytime there's major change, there's major opportunity. And so we're going to see that change. There's still going to be a ton of opportunity. And I'm excited about those changes. I do want to see, as a consumer myself, a bit more regulation around outbound dialing, data sale, offshore call centers, simply because, for a good year, I couldn't answer a phone call. I still can't answer a phone call. While we're doing this pod, I started getting robo dials again. My phone is now lighting up like it was 6 months ago, and
Consumers
my
don't
data
like it.
is getting sold. Yeah, it
I
sucks.
didn't even put that together, dude. My shit chilled out for a while, but it's starting to kick back in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting robocalls or calls where it's like I answered, it's a beep, And then I
Oh,
said
dude,
hello, and then it's like, oh,
no,
hi.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
calling about some refinancing. I'm
no,
like,
it's like the click, and then it's like hello, and you're like hello. Sometimes
Yeah.
I just do it to fuck with them to see what's going on, you know. But it's never even a real person, and they start talking for 2 seconds. I'm like, all right, you're blocked.
I mean, even my elevator, our elevator,
it's
got tagged
true.
with a robocall while I was in it yesterday. Like I was in
I've
there with a
almost
couple people.
purchased I've almost purchased Medicare in that elevator so many times, Adam.
Yeah, my home warranty was expiring. So
It's like kind of wild, yeah.
So, do you think we'll be dealing with the same potential, like huge industry shift, 9 to 12 months from now, or do you think between now and then the whole entire plan of attack from the FCC will change with it?
well, I think you have two things there. You have the FCC, which is going to need to figure out what they're going to do, and then you have the new political administration, which has come into office, frozen all regulatory action for review. And so I think that's where the First Amendment challenges may come from, the deregulation. And so, yeah, I don't know how it's going to play out. Um, I'm very interested to see how it's going to play out, but it is going to take some time. You have a 60-day regulatory freeze from an executive order from the new president, and then you're going to have all this review over regulation. And so I do still think something will happen. I do think something is needed, but there's a lot of uncertainty around what and when that will be, which is not great for business because businesses can't prepare or change what they're doing or strategize. And so that's why I think a lot of people in lead generation need to assume that something is going to happen or change and then start to think about what options they have for changing their business model so when it does happen, they're not caught off guard.
So Ringba is about to turn 10 or just turned 10. You could correct me on whichever one that is, but I know there's a big birthday party coming up. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what's going on? Because my invite must have gotten lost in the mail.
uh, well, um, it's clients who got invited, Josh. No offense.
We love you,
Um,
Josh.
yeah, we do. We do love you. Ringba is throwing a 10th birthday party at the Marquee Sky Deck at Kinetic Field on May 18th, the third night of the Electronic Daisy Carnival. And this is Harrison's worst nightmare, but he's coming. And we're going to have a great time.
I think
Harrison,
Harrison's going to have a great
they
time.
have Wagyu bowls and your own security and toilets. You can wear diamonds. You're flying out in a helicopter. Like it's not going to
I'll
be.
be
You're going to have
fun.
a
I'll be
great time. It'll
Rough
be fun.
life. Rough life, guys. So,
Yes.
best
Also my
clients,
40.
big.
It's also my 41st birthday.
So that's cool. Related to the 10 years of Ringba, more of a serious, deeper question. When you take all the materialistic stuff out of it and the financial freedom out of it, I'm curious, what have been like the most fulfilling aspects that you've taken from those 10 years that have helped you grow and become the person you are today?
Well, first, I do want to touch on what you just said. Harrison and I didn't receive payroll from Ringba until January 2021, and we have not received a raise since that date. And we are in the lower half of pay for our team members. And so we are not the most highly paid at Ringba. In fact, we're some of the least paid people at Ringba. And we talk about that at the company because we think it's important. We have a bunch of people that make what Harrison and I get paid combined, more. And we do that two reasons. One, we've had a really successful career, and so we're able to do that. And a lot of what people see, they don't realize Harrison and I have been in business together now for what, 15 plus years, Harrison? Like a long fucking time.
Yeah, something like
Um,
that.
just a long time. And we've known each other for like 17 years. And I'm really grateful. We've done a lot of business together. We've been successful. We're also, regardless of what you may see, pretty financially conservative. At Ringba, we run a really financially conservative business. We have, a ton of capital. We are very thoughtful about how we deploy it. And we care a lot about the future of our people. So that's the most fulfilling part is we've been able to grow this amazing team. We've given away over $1 billion in GOAT awards. We've helped so many people start businesses and make a lot of money in this space. And that's really the biggest benefit, the most fulfilling part of the entire thing is being able to look back and see all these people and to know we got to play a part in helping them
Cool.
grow their businesses. Yeah, and it's just
All
amazing.
right, I
It's
got
really
a good
cool to see people build.
I got a good follow-up question, and I want to answer from each of you on this. We'll start with Harrison. Harrison, what would you tell yourself 10 years ago today, just getting started at Ringba, with Ringba?
It's a hard one. I mean, we've joked that we would have made more money if we just ran calls. But I would say go do that. Or I would just say if it's for the future, I would just say get ready to be told to go fuck yourself a lot, but it's gonna work out. You know what I mean? Like it's what it is.
Adam?
Yeah. I mean, same thing. If I could tell myself 10 years ago, I would have been like, don't sell software, just build the biggest company in calls and, keep the software for yourself.
Yeah, selling software is hard, and if you own the software and you're the source, you have big advantage. So, oops. We're very happy to
Yeah.
have you all as customers now, but if we were
Yeah.
going back,
I mean, that's only if the software platforms don't exist that are better than what you have. So just to clarify that, like if you have your own software, but it's not as good as Ringba, which is like everybody's, then you're actually losing money by not working with Ringba instead. But if we didn't do what we did, Josh, then we would have better software than everybody else, and we would have probably the biggest call business in existence by now. And look, I'm not saying that what we did isn't amazing. We're very grateful. And now that we're here, we love it. Like, it's great. The challenges are still huge. The problems are just bigger. It's more bullshit. And it's worth it. But servicing other people and being responsible for other people's businesses is an incredibly large opportunity. And it causes a lot of sleepless nights. Like, I I I got to deal with a lot of stuff and people hit me up in the middle of the night and I have to be there for them because I care very deeply and passionately about their success. And so I think this route has caused Harrison and I to grow as people a lot more than if we would have taken our own advice 10 years ago that we just gave. And I think when you're responsible for other people, it really forces you to become a better person, think longer term, be more thoughtful, um, and have a lot more humility. And so I'm grateful for that journey. I'm a much better person because of Ringba. I'm a much better leader. I'm a much better technologist. I'm a much better business person. And I'm just overall a better human because of this. So um, I'm really grateful for that on our journey. People see the benefits, but they don't see the pain and suffering that went into those benefits. They see the Gulf Stream, but they don't see the panic attack on the floor in the living room when you got millions of dollars in payroll and your company's not making any money, right? Like they don't see those things. And we've bled for our customers in a way that no one will ever truly understand. And we're happy we did it. We're glad we did it. We would do it again in a heartbeat for them. But you know, it's just remember, like, if people knew what you had to do to go from zero to where Ringba is today, or we did, we probably wouldn't have done it because building anything like Ringba is a very painful process that takes a piece of your soul that you'll never give back. But um, yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's not.
trade it for anything.
So let's shrink our focus a little from the past 10 years to the last year. Harrison, I know you had a good year. I don't know exactly what happened, but Adam put out a video of his 2024 in review, and a lot happened. Adam, I'm just curious, like, in the video, I think you said it was the best year of your life, and I know you mean that when you say it. Do you feel like it was the best year of your life because it was like the most growth you've had as like a human being in your slightly over 40 years on this planet?
You know, I had changed my priority structure, and last year I didn't compromise it for anything. And the results of that were really powerful. And, you know, I think as an entrepreneur, we get so tied up in business that we don't take a step back and make sure that we're healthy, that we're happy, to enjoy the fulfillment and to be grateful for it. And I did that in 2024. And it was the best year of my life. I also have a partner that is incredibly supportive of my business journey. She does not complain when I have to work until 2 in the morning
That's a
or
huge part of
deep.
the equation, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Massive.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, my last partner was not supportive in this way. Um, I mean, that's not, I mean, she was supportive, but not like this. Like, Kim just understands, like, this is who I am, this is my life, I'm never going to stop. And she just supports it. Like, I'll be sitting at the table some nights until 2 or 3 in the morning. She doesn't complain. Um,
Well, it's
it
one thing to
just,
like put it out there at the beginning, which I know I'm sure you did. Like, this is who I am, this is my life, this is what it's going to be like. And they're like, yeah, right. But then, like, you get a year in or not even, and they're like, oh, he's serious, right? But to actually see somebody stick around and truly understand what your motives are and what your goals in life are, I think is rare.
yeah, well, I mean, look, if you were to go back and read your journal, you'd see things that say, like, I want a partner who has a mission. I want a partner with aligned values. Um, and we have a mission. Like, our mission is to help our clients grow their businesses and so that they can provide a better future for their teams and their families. And to do that requires some sacrifice. And look, she's great. She comes with me everywhere. Um, she was on like 58 out of 60 flights or 50 something, last year. Um, and so, like, she'll hang out at a trade show, doesn't complain if I got to go work or go to an event after or whatever. And, I make sure to prioritize time away. I think, for a lot of us that are, and Harrison does this too, like, hyper successful and dedicated to what they're doing. Like, I went to a CEO dinner at Lead Gen World. I stayed for 45 minutes and then told Manny, who was hosting it, hey, man, I'm going to go. And he was like, you're leaving? Like, we haven't even been served the main course yet. And I was like, bro, my priorities, like, I gotta, I gotta go. Um, and so I've just been very aware of this, and I try to give back the same respect that I receive and make time. And, like, Harrison's good at this too. He's been with someone for a long time, almost the same amount of time, actually, almost exactly. Um, it's crazy. And when we're at trade shows, the four of us will go out to dinner a lot of the time, or we'll take them to go do something. Out of appreciation. It's just like, look, we got to get all the business stuff in, but it can't be 100% business or we won't be happy. And I think this year I really realized that I get more done in business when I'm having a lot of fun and I'm happier. Like, I, like that sacrifice of that giving away of that I did for a long time. And I think it probably cost us a lot of money. Like going out and having fun has allowed me to be a much better leader and much more efficient at what I do. Same with my health. Like, like
Yeah,
I'm in
to be the best
great
leader, you gotta be the best version of yourself, you know?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
So,
so I really mean it. I really mean it. It was the best year of my life. 2025 is going to be even better with
well,
what we have lined up.
that was my next question. How do you guys make 2025 the best year of both of your lives? How do you keep, I don't want to say moving the goalpost because that usually has a negative connotation, but how do you guys keep yourselves motivated and hungry, and how do you realistically set goals that are meaningful when you're doing so much?
We just make them. I don't know. Fuck.
Okay, there you have it. All right, just fucking make them.
Well, like
I
like
mean, look,
we just
Or is the
we're
key
goal.
to set the goal that is unrealistic so that wherever you end up is way past where you thought you were going to be?
nah, the language you just used is the problem. Is there's no unrealistic goal. If you believe you can do something or you believe you can't do something, you're right. And so I don't think that anything is off the table or unrealistic. And I don't think we're not capable of anything. Like, there hasn't been anything that Harris and I have wanted to do that we haven't been able to do. And I don't think anything exists that we're not capable of doing, which may sound a little delusional, but, one of Kim's friends says all the time, I want Adam Young confidence. And she calls me delusional. But she doesn't mean it negatively. She means it as a compliment. And you got to be a little bit delusional to say, like, hey, I'm going to start a business and make $1 billion, right? Like, people are like, what? Yeah, right. You're like, okay, fine. Like, fuck you. And then I say to myself, well, why did I set the bar so low? Like, why not 10? Like, if you can do one, you can do 10, right? Like, if you can make 1 million, you can make 10. Well, if we can make 1 billion, we can make 10, right? Other people do it. I've met some of these people. They're not really that impressive most of the time. They're just delusionally confident and believe in themselves. And I think that's the most important part of doing anything is first, you really truly have to believe that you can move the mountain. And everyone's going to tell you you can't. And everyone's going to tell you it's a bad idea. But then you just fuck it. Like, I'm going to do it anyways. And that's a really, really important thing. And, Harrison has come to me and been like, hey, let's do this. And I just laugh, like, yeah, that sounds dumb. Okay. Sure.
Were you guys
Like,
always
one of
this
our
way,
dumbest.
though? Were you guys always delusional in this regard? Or do you feel like you kind of became it as you started finding more success and realizing the more risks that you can take, the more delusional thinking you can come up with? Like, or do you think, like, when you think all the way back to when you were a kid, like, were you always this way?
I'm pretty sure Harrison and I have always been delusional.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So, so nonchalant. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I saved the most important conversation point for last. Harrison, is it true that you're doing lateral raises with 25-pound dumbbells? Because that's delusional. That's pretty crazy.
Yes, I am, and I don't swing them. I know that matters to you. You are an advocate for form over at OfferVault.
Yes, keep that core tight.
I
Pull
get
that
yelled
belly
at if
button. Pull that belly button towards your spine. You know, all the good
you
stuff.
got to do it. But yes, I am doing that, and I'm going pretty heavy. And I've been getting into hyperbaric chambers, which are pretty cool. Doing that a couple times a week. So I just sit in there and listen to Audible and lay there. It's good for recovery. So if you have the option, you should try it.
Adam, what's next on your fitness journey? Because I know you've been on one. Is it more like a maintenance program now, or are you still trying to get somewhere?
No, I have been mandated with Chris Hemsworth.
So what does that mean?
That
I need to look like Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, okay, cool. How are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Delusional
continue to lift
thinking.
heavy.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a problem. You just lift more weight more times. Eat a lot of protein, you know? So I mean, Harrison's eating more protein than me. He's much heavier though. I'm over 200 grams a day, at 160 pounds. And I'm lifting heavy 5 days a week, doing Pilates floor sculpt twice a week. I reduced that because I was too lean. I wasn't able to get mass. But yeah, I'm pretty shredded right now, bro. Like, it's good. But see, this is the thing. Like, every time I tear up and I'm like, oh, I'm doing well, I get, hey, like, yeah, okay, not really. And you need to do this. So,
But that's what keeps you motivated, right?
yeah, she has figured out the Adam Young hack, which is if it's self-improvement related, you know, I will get
Tell you you're not
frustrated
doing
and then
a
go,
good job. I'll ask my
yeah,
wife. I'll be like,
exactly.
does it look like I've lost weight? And then I'll be like, tell me it doesn't. Tell me no. You know, because I feel like
I
when you
was
hear it,
I was fat until about 3 months ago. And fat, quote unquote. And then after that, I was scrawny. And now I am average, apparently. I'm in an abusive relationship that's working out well for my health.
I think that's a great place to end it today. Always love hanging out with just the guys. For myself, Josh from OfferVault, Mr. Paper Call Adam Young, as well as the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz. Let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We will see you next time.